What if I told you that the simple box of baking soda in your refrigerator holds the potential to either soothe some of your most stubborn health issues or to make them significantly worse? Do not take another sip of baking soda water until you've heard this. It's a substance so common we barely give it a second thought, yet within that simple white powder lies a complex duality. It can be a gentle, effective remedy, or an accidental aggravator of common health issues, and knowing the difference is absolutely critical, especially for those of us navigating our health in our prime. So, what if the common advice is wrong? Or worse, what if it's incomplete? What if that simple box in your pantry holds the key to easing everything from itchy skin to joint pain, but only if you understand its rules? What if using it at the wrong time for something like indigestion could actually be one of the worst things you can do? Over the next few minutes, we're going to embark on a journey of discovery together. We're going to unravel the secrets of sodium bicarbonate, moving from its simplest applications to its most profound. We'll start with a foundational habit that's easy for anyone to adopt, and we'll build step by step through 5 more powerful strategies. And you absolutely must stay with me until the end for our game-changing revelation number 1. It's the most misunderstood and crucial piece of this puzzle, and it's the secret that could completely transform your relationship with your own digestive health. So if you're ready to move beyond the old wives' tales and into a place of true understanding and empowerment, stick with me. And if you find value in what we're about to share, I'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our community of healthy seniors. Just a quick, important reminder: all the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet or health regimen, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Our goal here is empowerment through knowledge, so you can have informed discussions with them. All right, let's begin. Our foundational habit: a soothing touch for troubled skin. Let's start on the outside with one of the most straightforward and time-tested uses for baking soda as a topical remedy for specific types of insect bites. Imagine you're enjoying a beautiful afternoon in your garden and suddenly you feel that sharp burning sting. A fire ant or a bee has decided to make your acquaintance. The immediate reaction is pain, swelling, and a persistent, aggravating itch. You're dealing with your body's inflammatory response to the insect's venom. Where the details matter is in the nature of the venom itself. Many people think a sting is a sting, but nature is far more specific. To truly grasp how this works, let's use an analogy. Imagine the insect's venom is like a tiny drop of acidic liquid, like lemon juice injected under your skin. This acid is what causes the irritation. Our goal isn't to fight the body's response, but to neutralize the initial cause of the irritation. Therefore, the effective approach is to apply a substance that is the chemical opposite of an acid, an alkaline compound. And that's precisely what baking soda is. By making a simple paste of baking soda and a little water and applying it directly to the bite, you're not just masking the symptom, you're performing a tiny chemical neutralization on your skin. This simple action can calm the burning and itching sensation remarkably quickly. It's a perfect first aid response for stings from bees and most ants, especially fire ants, because their venom is primarily acidic. But, and this is a critical piece of wisdom, this is not a universal rule for all bites. This is where knowledge becomes power. A wasp sting, for example, is a different story. Wasp venom is actually alkaline. So if you put alkaline baking soda on an already alkaline sting, you could potentially make the irritation worse. For a wasp sting, you'd want to do the opposite. Apply a mild acid, like a bit of vinegar, to neutralize it. And for things like spider bites, you want something that can help draw out the venom, like activated charcoal or bentonite clay, not just neutralize it. So our foundational habit is this: keep a small container of baking soda handy for those inevitable garden skirmishes with bees and fire ants. It's a safe, effective, and incredibly cheap way to find immediate relief. Essential insight number 5: creating a healthier smile from the inside out. Let's move from our skin to our smile. For decades, we've seen baking soda as an ingredient in commercial toothpastes, and for good reason. But understanding why it works is the key to unlocking its full potential for our oral health, which is so crucial as we age. The challenge, as we all know, is the buildup of plaque. It's that sticky film that can lead to tartar, cavities, and gum disease. What's happening in our mouths is a constant battle. Tiny bacteria live there, and when we eat sugary or starchy foods, they feast on those particles. As they feast, they produce acid as a waste product. It's this acid that erodes our tooth enamel and creates the environment for plaque to thrive. This leads to a common approach of using harsh, abrasive toothpastes or whitening agents that can feel like you're sandblasting your teeth. While this might feel clean temporarily, it can be damaging to enamel over the long term. To understand this better, let's use an analogy. Imagine the acid produced by bacteria in your mouth is like a slow corrosive rust forming on the beautiful enamel of your teeth. Plaque is the structure that holds this rust in place. Some harsh methods are like using steel wool to scrub off the rust. You might get the rust off, but you'll scratch the underlying surface in the process. But baking soda works differently. It's like a gentle, effective polish. It's just abrasive enough to help scrub away the plaque and surface stains, therefore cleaning your teeth effectively. More importantly, because it's alkaline, it directly neutralizes those damaging acids produced by the bacteria. It changes the very pH of your mouth, making it a less hospitable environment for those acid-loving microbes to thrive in the first place. This two-pronged approach, gentle physical cleaning and chemical acid neutralization, is what makes it so effective. You can find toothpastes with baking soda or even make a simple paste yourself to use occasionally. However, the real secret, the ultimate solution this insight points to, is addressing the root cause. Baking soda is a fantastic tool for managing the battlefield in your mouth, but the way to win the war is to cut off the enemy's supply line. This means reducing the amount of sugar in your diet, because without that fuel, the bacteria can't produce the acid that causes all the trouble to begin with. Surprising strategy number 4, shifting the environment to soothe UTIs. Now we move deeper inside the body to an issue that is unfortunately common, especially for women as they mature: urinary tract infections, or UTIs. Anyone who has experienced one knows the relentless discomfort and urgency they cause. It's a miserable experience. The underlying issue is a microbial one. A UTI occurs when bacteria, most commonly E. coli, make their way into the urinary tract and begin to multiply. Our bodies are designed to fight them off, but sometimes the bacteria gain a foothold, creating an infection. The standard medical treatment is, of course, antibiotics, and you should always see a doctor for a diagnosis. But for those who are prone to them, there's a constant effort in trying to prevent them from recurring. Many people turn to cranberry juice, which is thought to help by preventing bacteria from sticking to the bladder walls. But there's another environmental factor at play that is often overlooked: the acidity of the urine itself. Think of it this way. Imagine the bacteria in your urinary tract are like a stubborn, invasive weed that thrives in a very specific type of soil, in this case, acidic soil. You can try to pull the weeds out one by one, but if you don't change the condition of the soil, they're very likely to grow back. This is where our surprising strategy comes in. Taking a small amount of baking soda, dissolved in water, can temporarily make your urine more alkaline. Therefore, you are fundamentally changing the soil in which these bacteria are trying to grow. For many types of bacteria that cause UTIs, this alkaline environment is hostile. It makes it much more difficult for them to multiply and thrive. As a result, it can help to flush them out and can sometimes soothe the symptoms, while your body's immune system or prescribed antibiotics does the heavy lifting. Now, a crucial caveat is in order. When it comes to a potential infection like a UTI, it's absolutely vital to approach it with care. This strategy should be considered as a potential supportive measure, not a replacement for medical advice. It's wise to discuss this with your doctor, especially if you have ongoing health considerations like kidney issues or high blood pressure, as baking soda contains sodium. Our goal here is empowerment through knowledge, so you can make the best choices for your unique situation. This strategy is a fascinating example of how a simple shift in your body's internal pH can have a powerful effect. Key secret number 3, unlocking endurance and easing muscle fatigue. This next secret might sound like it's for Olympic athletes, but its principle is incredibly relevant for any of us who want to stay active, whether that's playing a full round of golf, keeping up with the grandchildren, or enjoying a long walk without feeling that familiar muscle burn. The issue we're tackling here is lactic acid buildup. Here's what happens. When you engage in strenuous activity, your muscles need energy. They burn glucose for fuel, and a byproduct of this process, especially during high-intensity effort, is lactic acid. As lactic acid accumulates in your muscles, the pH in the muscle cells drops, becoming more acidic. This acidity is what causes that burning sensation and fatigue that eventually forces you to slow down or stop. A common frustration for many mature adults is the feeling that our stamina just isn't what it used to be. That burn seems to arrive sooner and linger longer, which can be discouraging and limit the activities we love. Let's use an analogy to make this clear. Imagine your muscle cells are tiny engines. When you're working hard, these engines produce acidic exhaust fumes, lactic acid. If you're in a poorly ventilated room, those fumes build up quickly, the air becomes toxic, and the engines sputter and shut down. Your body has a ventilation system to clear these fumes, but sometimes during intense effort, the fumes build up faster than they can be cleared. So how can baking soda help? Decades of research in sports science, confirmed in numerous studies like those often published in the International Journal of Sports Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism, have shown that ingesting sodium bicarbonate before exercise can act as a buffering agent. It temporarily increases the pH of your blood, making it more alkaline. Therefore, this more alkaline blood acts like a better ventilation system. It can more efficiently draw the acidic fumes out of your muscle cells, delaying that buildup of acidity. This means the engines can run longer and harder before they begin to sputter. For an athlete, this might mean a few more reps or shaving seconds off their time. For the rest of us, it could mean finishing that last hole on the golf course feeling strong or easily carrying the groceries in from the car without that immediate arm burn. It's a secret to enhancing your muscular endurance. Now it's important to approach this with awareness. The recommended dosage for athletic performance is quite specific, around 0.3 grams per kilogram of body weight, and taking too much at once can cause digestive upset. If you're considering this, it's best to start with a much smaller amount, and as always, it's wise to discuss any new supplement strategy with your doctor, especially considering the sodium content if you have blood pressure concerns. Crucial truth number 2, dissolving the crystals of gout and kidney stones. We're getting closer to our final revelation, and this one is a crucial truth for anyone who has ever suffered from the excruciating pain of gout or certain types of kidney stones. These two conditions seem different, but they often share a common culprit, uric acid. The situation begins when our bodies have an excess of uric acid. This can happen for various reasons, including diet or genetics. When uric acid levels are too high, it can crystallize out of the blood or urine. The critical factor is where these crystals form. To understand this, let's use a very clear analogy. Imagine making rock candy. You dissolve a huge amount of sugar in hot water, creating a supersaturated solution. As the water cools, the sugar can no longer stay dissolved, and it begins to form hard, sharp crystals on the string. Uric acid does the same thing in our bodies. If it crystallizes in a joint, typically the big toe, it forms needle-like crystals that cause the agonizing inflammation and pain of a gout attack. If these crystals form in the kidneys, they can clump together to become painful uric acid kidney stones. So how do we stop these sharp crystals from forming? We need to make the water, our blood and urine, better at keeping the sugar dissolved. This is where baking soda reveals a crucial truth. Uric acid, as its name implies, is an acid, and it dissolves much more readily in an alkaline environment. Therefore, by taking small, controlled amounts of baking soda, you can gently raise the pH of your urine, making it more alkaline. This alkaline environment makes it much harder for uric acid to crystallize. It is like gently warming the sugar water in our analogy. It encourages the crystals to dissolve back into the solution and be safely flushed out of the body before they can form painful stones or cause a gout flare-up. This is a well-regarded principle, and some medical professionals may recommend it as part of a broader strategy to manage these conditions. Leading health institutions like the National Kidney Foundation acknowledge the role of urinary pH in preventing uric acid stones. But this is not a cure for the underlying issue, and it is absolutely essential to do this under a doctor's guidance. Kidney function is a delicate balance, and for those with compromised kidneys, managing pH and sodium intake is a serious matter. This truth is a powerful tool, but one that must be used with respect and professional oversight. The game-changing revelation number 1, the stomach acid paradox. And now we arrive at the most important, most misunderstood, and most game-changing revelation of all. This is the one that addresses the millions of people who suffer from acid reflux, GERD, and gastritis. It is the great stomach acid paradox. The sensation that drives people to chug baking soda water is that painful feeling of acid burning the esophagus. The immediate logical thought is, I have too much acid, I need to neutralize it. This leads millions to reach for baking soda or over-the-counter antacids as a daily habit. But the great paradox, and a point that health experts are increasingly trying to make us understand, is that for a huge number of people, especially as we get older, the symptoms of acid reflux are not caused by too much stomach acid. They are caused by too little. This sounds completely backward, so let's use a critical analogy to explain it. Imagine your stomach is a high-security chamber with a tightly sealed door at the top, a valve called the lower esophageal sphincter, or LES. The job of the stomach is to be an intensely acidic environment with a pH between 1 and 3, almost like battery acid. This extreme acidity is essential. It's what triggers the stomach to digest proteins, absorb minerals, and kill dangerous pathogens. And critically, that high level of acid is the signal that tells the door at the top, the LES, to stay clamped shut. Now, what happens when stomach acid is weak? When the pH is too high, not acidic enough? The food you eat just sits there, putrefying instead of digesting properly. This creates gas and pressure that pushes upwards. And crucially, because the acid level isn't strong enough to give the clamp shut signal, that top door, the LES, can become weak and flap open. This allows the small amount of weak but still irritating acid and undigested food to splash up into the esophagus. That's the burn you feel. Therefore, when you have indigestion, that feeling of a heavy, cramping stomach with food just sitting there, and you take baking soda, you're taking a weak fire and throwing water on it. You're making the situation exponentially worse by neutralizing the little acid you had, shutting down digestion even further. This is the moment when baking soda can become a poison to your digestive process. For indigestion, what you often need is more acid, in the form of apple cider vinegar or betaine hydrochloride, to get the digestive fire burning properly again. So when is baking soda helpful? It can be a temporary rescue remedy, a fire extinguisher for the rare moments of genuine hyperacidity, or to put out the immediate flames of reflux while you work on fixing the root cause, which is often low acid. For gastritis and inflamed stomach lining, baking soda can provide temporary relief from the irritation, allowing the lining to heal. But the game-changing revelation is this: chronic, long-term use of baking soda to neutralize your stomach acid is a recipe for disaster. It will cripple your ability to digest protein, absorb vital nutrients like vitamin B12 and minerals, and leave you vulnerable to foodborne pathogens. You are fundamentally shutting down one of your body's most important systems. And there you have it, our game-changing revelation number 1. It's completely counterintuitive, but understanding the stomach acid paradox is the key to true, long-term digestive health. Using baking soda as a crutch instead of a temporary tool is one of the biggest mistakes people make. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We started with our foundational habit of using a simple baking soda paste to soothe bee stings, moved to our essential insight number 5 on protecting our oral health, and explored the surprising strategy number 4 for creating an inhospitable environment for UTIs. We uncovered the key secret number 3 to boosting muscular endurance and learned the crucial truth number 2 about dissolving the crystals that cause gout and kidney stones. And we finished with our game-changing revelation number 1, the stomach acid paradox. Each one of these is a stepping stone to using this simple substance with wisdom and respect for the complex workings of our bodies. Which of these insights resonated with you the most? Perhaps it was the surprising strategy for muscle endurance, or maybe our eye-opening revelation about stomach acid. Which one are you thinking of exploring further? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. If you found this journey through these health discoveries valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies tailored for our fantastic community of healthy seniors. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.